Good evening, wrestling community, and welcome to another edition of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest, greatest professional wrestling news. In tonight's feature, we give you yesterday's WWE fourth quarter conference call for 2010. A lot of misses, not a lot of gains. Kind of puts in perspective what I've been talking about for the last couple weeks, for the last 3 weeks. The WWE has been criticized by the financial community on its financial losses over the last 2 years, but still maintaining a higher than average dividend payout to its investors, and its investors basically responding by saying, look, we don't want a big payout. We would rather financial security to ensure payouts for generations to come. If you wouldn't mind, Vince. But let's get right into it. We want to thank our audience. Without you, this would not be possible. You guys have made it a lot of fun over the last couple of weeks. I appreciate the comments. I get back to the comments almost immediately as they notify me, and it gets, after I publish these videos, the comments automatically, I get an email saying that I've got a comment, so I respond to them promptly. I do it on air 90% of the time. From what I've gathered, there isn't a lot of feedback, but if I missed anything, I'll recap it in comments after the video. But let's get right into the wrestling news. Khali has returned as of this week to WWE Superstars. Triple H comments on his return being, quote, sooner rather than later. FCW shows this weekend scheduled to feature the legend Dusty Rhodes and Vicky Guerrero. Raw wrestlers and NXT rookies are also slotted for matches during this weekend of events for FCW. There wasn't a lot of wrestling news in between our last video outside of the conference call. There was a lot of coverage on the conference call. Basically got all the rundown here for you. So let's get right into that as we've gotten the wrestling news out of the way in under what looks like under 3 minutes. WWE, before we get into the conference call itself, the fallout from the conference call, they held their conference call yesterday, Thursday, February 10th, 2011. The market immediately responded after the conference call. The stock dipped as low as $12 per share in midday trading after the conference call and closed yesterday at $12.13 per share, down from February 9th closing price of it's down 2.3% of February 9th closing price of $12.42 a share. Fourth quarter pay-per-view income was $13.8 million for 2010, down from $16.3 million in the fourth quarter of 2009. 23% overall decline in pay-per-views, highlighted pay-per-views. There were 4 of them, but what did the most damage is what we're going to give you. Like I said, a 23% overall decline, highlighted 26% decline in the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, 24% decline in bragging rights compared to those same pay-per-views in the fourth quarter of 2009. Out of the 4 highlighted pay-per-views, Survivor Series was the only event that gained buy rates, that showed an increase. This pay-per-view was up 244,000 buys compared to 235,000 buys fourth quarter of 2009. Total fourth quarter revenue for WWE was $122.5 million compared to $117.3 million in the fourth quarter of 2009. WWE reflected this income on a $7.9 $1 million increase in the movie production area of their business. WWE Studios generated $7.9 million in revenue compared to 0.2 million in the fourth quarter of 2009, which I actually found kind of funny because I'd like to know. It kind of contradicted itself because they posted 7.9 million in revenue, but then also used it as a highlight in the conference call of an area that suffered. Said that Legendary and another movie hurt them, but they bragged about the 7.9 million. And don't get me wrong, 7.9 is 7.9 any way you slice it, but this is up from 0.2, less than $1 million last year. So this has actually shown the best growth in the key areas of WWE's business. And that's what the big joke is with me. I'd like to know where all these people are, because what it seems with WWE Studios anymore is, like we said with Triple H's movie The Chaperone, it's in 3 select theaters for 3 days, and then it goes to a pre-reserved Walmart DVD sale, and by the end of the month you'll be able to get it on Redbox for $1. Maybe the Redbox is where they make their most money. Dare say collectors buy them at Walmart, maybe, but could it be that the increase comes from the $1 a movie, so you don't feel so bad about it? If you have a Netflix account, Knuckleheads is already available for free. All it'll cost you is your time, and if your time is valuable, I do not recommend it. Big Show, a great character for WWE, but I don't think it was his role. But moving along, expenses for WWE this year were $14.4 million compared to $17.8 million in the fourth quarter of 2009. Live TV and entertainment reflected $82.4 million in revenue compared to $83.8 million in the fourth quarter of 2009. Digital media for this year was $10.3 million compared to $10.6 million in quarter 4 of 2009. So this is a decrease of 2.8%. WWE shops declined $0.9 million, down 13.4% from 2009 during this year's holiday season compared to last year's holiday season. And let me just interject right here. There's select items that I buy. There's a lot of, Cafe Press is too expensive. WWE sometimes is too expensive unless it's on their closeout items. Like I recently got a Legacy t-shirt for $6.50. Mostly, the economy sucked for this holiday season, and we've seen that coming. But I would recommend to anybody, shop around. WWE.com is not the cheapest place to find these things, and I'm sure you guys know this. eBay is another one if you don't mind the item used or barely used in most cases. Again, WWEshop.com's closeout prices are one thing, because if it's on an item that they're no longer pushing, it gets marked down. Granted, you're not current events, but it's better than paying $6.50 is better than paying $21.95 for the same t-shirt. So my only concern looking over all of this is the biggest concern is that WWE still feels the need, and they had already scheduled most of the pay-per-views. They're keeping most of them. I think if now is the best time of all, especially seeing how bad your business has suffered. You need to cut back on your pay-per-views. You need to make them mean something again. You need to make these titles mean something. People would buy them if your titles meant something. It goes hand in hand. Build the stories, that build the feuds, that build the championship matches that we want to see. The championships are tossed around so often that they mean nothing when it changes hands. When somebody wins, it means nothing because nobody retains for that long anymore. It's not like RVD's run of 24 months as an ECW television champion. And I understand I might come off as a mark for that, but make it mean something again where you're paying. I mean, the big headline on the pay-per-view side of the conference call was, how did the $5 increase affect the business? And all you see is negativity before you even get into the $5 increase. These buy rates suck. And the $5 increase hasn't even been assessed yet. So I haven't even mentioned that yet, that it went up $5, and that's what the headline was. But the headline mentioned nothing about the $5 increase outside of that. What they need to do is they either need to make more worthwhile coupons, more worthwhile offers, and lessen your pay-per-views. Definitely, you don't need to have that many. You don't need to be on TV, on pay-per-view TV bi-weekly. You can cut expenses greatly if, alright, theoretically, and we mentioned it in a previous video, but go from, what are we at, 13, 12, 13, 15 a year? Go to 6 or 8. Keep your key ones, obviously, your Royal Rumble, your King of the Ring, your WrestleMania, but your Survivor Series, because obviously you showed growth, so you're going to keep that. But stop the bragging rights. If I had to make a quick note and pick one pay-per-view to just oust completely because nobody cares, like if anybody expected other than what you got on the buy rates for bragging rights, you're kidding yourself. No one cares right now considering how they treat the brand split. Yes, you're seeing a little unity now, but they still treat it as a brand split. No, but Raw is the flagship. SmackDown is the secondary. WWE treats it that way. So as long as the company treats it that way, nobody else is going to treat it any differently. Until you start making where SmackDown runs into your Raw and Raw runs into your SmackDown again, maybe you can boost the ratings to where when Raw faces SmackDown and vice versa at bragging rights, it means something. Just a suggestion. Hate to be an echo. I have it on previous videos. Look back in the archive, youtube.com/CWE Company, WrestleTalkShow.webs.com, and we also have a new Wrestle Talk Show hotline to introduce to you tonight. Brand new number. The number to call in for leaving voicemails on the Wrestle Talk Show is 267-393-2895. Please leave your voicemail messages to let's say a maximum of 3 minutes, just so I can, make sure I get most of what you have to say on there, or the gist of what you have to say. Long distance charges may apply. Friend us on Facebook.com/CWE Company, as well as Twitter.com/CWE Company. Send direct emails to cwecompany@gmail.com. While you're on the website, check out the forums. Give us a comment on the members site, what we need to put in, what would set us apart. We could use your input on this because, like I've been saying, we have the marketing proposal. We started generating it this week, like we promised. It's going to local businesses, and all we're looking for is I understand there's a million of these around, but I want to set us apart somehow. So let us know, guys. As always, thanks for tuning in. We'll have ratings on your Impact and everything else as of tomorrow. Your viewership is much appreciated. Thank you, and continue to watch. Have a great night, guys.